promoting? You got websites and stuff like that?
Yeah, bushwhackerluke.net.
Okay.
And Facebook, Bushwhacker Luke Williams, and my official Facebook page on that there too.
Cool. What this basically is, it's just going to be referencing a bunch of...
This is my first, let me give you a little outline, mate. My first point of entry into North America was in Canada.
Okay.
In 72. No, 71, for a company called Grand Prix, which was owned by Edward Carpentier, the Vachons and Yvan Robert, and that. And we did, and we worked Quebec and Ontario, and then we came into Barrie, Canada, and to the States in a little bit then. And then I went to the Dun. Then after that, I went to Stu Hart. I didn't even know who Stu Hart was.
Right.
I didn't know about the dungeon or anything. Didn't know all those kids. If you ask me this, because the first night there, we're in the ring and we were working against the champions, and we got DQ'd, and all these kids were thrown in the fucking ring. You're not taping yet, are you? No, I'm just giving you a little outline.
Okay.
And these were all Stu Hart's kids. We didn't know who they were. And Abdullah was throwing them in the ring, and we knew Abby from the 60s in New Zealand. He was kicking the shit out. We didn't know these were Stu Hart's kids.
Right, right.
So then after a few years they went home, and then I just worked in Japan and New Zealand and Australia. Then in the late 70s I came back and then started working in the States full time, and I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's cool.
So now you know whatever you want to.
Right. Okay, cool.
You don't see my glasses there, do you?
No. All right. So if we can go online here with Luke Williams.
Huh? When do you start?
Right then. Where do we start?
Start.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool. So if we can go online here with Luke Williams. How you doing, man?
Bloody lovely, tell your mother. And how is your mother today, mate?
She's doing great, actually.
Good. I'm looking forward to giving her a good licking, a bushwhacker licking. You know what I mean? Down under.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Now, I understand you've been doing this since '64, right?
Many moons, mate. Many moons. You're making me sound like an old dinosaur, mate.
Legend.
Legend. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Now, initially, Stu Hart was your first trainer. Is that correct?
No. I started back in New Zealand. Mate, and had been in Europe and in Australia, Singapore, and in Asia before I even came over to North America, mate. And when I came into North America, Canada, in 71, 72.
Okay. All right. And then you were originally the Kiwis. Is how
The
you
Kiwis, yeah, we were known as the Kiwis. Nick Carter and Sweet Williams, Beauty and the Beast. I led my partner around on a dog collar. He actually was Brute Miller for years in the Singapore, Bangkok and that. And when we come over here, they'd already had a Brute. You know, there was a Brute Barnard and there was another, the Brute, around, so they changed his name to Nick Carter, but I still had him on a dog collar and a chain and that, and I was the sort of Sweet William, long blonde hair and that, and I led him round, and he had a crew cart and just trunks on. He was the beast.
Now, I understand that when you were with the Kiwis and you became the sheep herders, and that was a completely different style than what the Bushwhackers are.
Those days were different, completely different. We were the villains, the bad guys, mate, running around with the New Zealand flag, knocking every country we were in, every state we were in, every province in Canada we were in, and that, and trying to make a living,
right,
making some money. You know, they always have there's always the bad, the evil and the good guy, and then we were the bad guys.
Now, you wrestled in Puerto Rico for a while too, right?
I started going into Puerto Rico, in and out of Puerto Rico in '79, and that place, the Latins and that, as you know, through boxing and that, they love blood and guts.
Right.
We were more or less then. We were the sheep herders. When we changed in '79 from the Kiwis to the sheep herders, we were more or less the first team, '78, '79, to do hardcore. Not the hardcore today with light bulbs and all the thumbtacks and that, but we were doing chain matches, four-way chain matches. We were doing cage matches, barbed wire cage matches, no ropes. Cage was put around the ring with barbed wire. We were doing boot camp matches, you know, that death matches, coal miner glove on the pole matches, fire matches where the rope on the top has got flames, you know, lit on fire and that and all that. We were doing that in the 70s and early 80s.
Now, when you're out of the country, that's where a lot of that still takes place. That's the style of wrestling that still goes on, right?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is in the Latin markets and that, and in, they still have a lot of that sort of stuff here. Not so much in the States now. It's been changed to sports entertainment. Vince McMahon did that,
right.
And I can't knock it because the Bushwhackers wouldn't be here still today if it wasn't for Vince McMahon,
right,
and
right.
the marketing.
Now, when you switched over to the Bushwhackers, that was completely different from what you're doing, and it just took off immediately.
Let me tell you a little story here, mate. I don't know whether you want me to tell you, but I'm bloody well telling you, mate.
All right.
This is the story where we got I was working with the Crockett's NWA out of Charlotte, which was maybe the biggest territory in the country for years till Vince McMahon Jr. took over from Senior. And Vince McMahon Jr. took over USA Network and took it nationwide, the one show nationwide. And we got the phone call. We went out. He says, "Come, when you have a day off, come to our office." We went up to Vinny's office and that, and up in Connecticut, and we went into his office, and he introduced himself. I talked to him on the phone with Pat Patterson, and he says, "Well, he's talking to us, blah blah blah, about our past and that." And he says, "Well, I'd like to change you completely. I'd like to bring you in as fan favorite." And that's when Butch jumped up on Vince's desk. Their noses were about a foot apart.
Okay.
And he said to Vince, "If you can make these faces good guys, go ahead." And he turned around and he says, "Check out my guys. You know, they haven't got the greatest mushes in the face. Look at Hacksaw Jim Duggan, one of my top baby faces. Look at Jake the Snake. Look at Randy Savage. Look at Hulk. There's my big stars. Look at their mush."
Right, right.
Excuse me. And Butch said, "Go ahead." And hence, we went back home to Florida and that. And about 3 days later, we got a contract in the mail, the Bushwhackers. And Butch rings me and he says, "Who the hell's these Bushwhackers?" And I says, "It's got to be us and that, because that's a down under name, right? Bushwhackers like a Robin Hood."
Okay.
You know what I mean? And he said, "That must be us and that." And of course, he wanted to change our name, so he owned us. Well, that's business and that. And hence the Bushwhackers were made. And at the meeting, he said, "I want you between the Moondogs and the Sheepherders." Well, when we got out of the office, Butch said to me, "You know, we copied the Moondogs, we're copying someone else, and the Sheepherders, we've been around," because we were on, at the time, we were on Ted Turner's network, WTBS, not TBS, but it was WTBS satellite.
Okay.
So we decided we're going to change it all to completely, hence the arm swinging and the leg pumping,
right,
and the head licking, and then we changed the whole thing completely, and we made it. Maybe people said to me, comedy, we threw comedy into it, and then we changed it, and then a lot of people said to us, "How can you go from being completely hardcore to what you're doing now?"
Right,
and that was easy. Marketing.
Definitely.
Because now we're making money out of t-shirts, games, and that. All of a sudden we got the kids, 5 or 6 year olds loving us. They walk around doing this, and we got the grandpas. We've got all ages.
Right. Yeah.
Loving the sheepherders. So that was easy. You know, when you've been in the business for so long, that you realize now it's the fans out there that make you what you are. You know, they buy tickets to see us, so we adopted what we had to do,
right,
to get loved.
Who came up with the licking?
Butch. I gotta say the Butch. I always grab my hand and lick the back of my hand.
Yeah.
But Butch licks some nasty faces.
Yeah, I bet for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
God bless him.
Now I understand you're with CWI now.
CWI, yes. I would say we came into Niagara Falls tonight, but the next 2 nights we're going into 2 Canadian towns, Lindsay and Caledonia. And I would say we're on Caledonia, that would be the strongest independent card I've seen or been on in my life. You know, entertainment-wise,
right.
talent-wise. There's for Raven, Val Venus, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, the Nasty Boys, Greg the Hammer, Grant the Hammer Valentine, Brutus the Barber, Beefcake, Highlander Robbie, the Bushwhacker. The names go on and on. Sylvia Grenier, you know what I mean? The names go on and on.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of a card. I know it may be, to some people who don't know the era they're from, but that's from what I'm talking about, from the 80s, mid-80s, right through to 95, 96, the talents there was strong.
Yeah.
And they were characters. Today, I'm not knocking today's talent because they're all athletes and they've all got great bodies and that, but the days that I'm talking about now were the day of characters.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I grew up watching all you guys. So
Yeah, the characters. And I wish the marketing level today, what is today with the internet, would have been in our day, because we would have made one hell of a bundle of merchandise.
Yeah, for sure. But you guys got the rights to Steve Urkel, though, you know?
Yeah, we got the rights to what a hell of a guy. And the cop, too, Carl.
Right.
What a hell of a guy.
Yeah, that was definitely, I remember that. Now, you have a website, I understand?
Yeah, I got a website, bushwhackerluke.net or /.com, whatever, and Facebook, bushwhackerluke.williams, and I got an official Facebook page the same too. You know, the two Facebook pages. So please check me out, and I'll be in your town to give you a licking. Just check on me.
Great, man. Awesome. So, what do you think's going to happen next for you?
Next for me, well, you know, the future's unpredictable. You know, yeah, I never put my boots on for years. I was in an office. I've been behind the scenes, of which I never mentioned to, in wrestling offices from the 80s right through till I went to Vince in '88. I've been Booker or talent coordinator,
okay,
television writer, whatever. And then after Vince, Butch was with me when we finished with Vince in early '97, and then Butch went home in late 2001, 2002, and I went to an office in Puerto Rico called IWA, International Wrestling Association, PR.net. I was there for 7 years, and we had great cards and great shows in that with Savio Vega and Miguel Perez. They were partners with Victor Quinones, and that, and they were in the Boricuas of WWF, and I was in that office for then, and now I've been, and then in '88 I got a call from HTM, Honky Tonk Man, a good friend of mine from the late '70s, and he did a stunt in Canada with Mario's, and he ripped his finger off with the guitar. You know, they did a stunt with the guitar, right. And he asked me to come north and fill in a month of dates for him. Okay. On the road. So I hadn't put my boots on for 7 years. Right. And hence, at the end of '88, at the end of 2008, I put 2009. I put my boots on for the first time for 7 years, and started wrestling again. 2009, and then this is 2011, end of 2011. So I've been back in the business 2.5, 3 years, and I've worked in England, Europe for German promotions, and I've been working throughout the States. And now I've been a lot of time working out this way a lot, but mainly in Canada, you know, not in Buffalo, mainly in Canada for CWI and a lot of promotions in Canada. And I run a little territory in the summer up in Halifax, in Nova Scotia for a company too, called UCW. Okay, cool. And that's what maybe the future. I don't know how long I'm going to be in the ring for, but I'll always be behind the scenes in wrestling.
What do you like better? Do you like being behind the scenes, or do you like actually?
Well, it was great when I came out and Honky got me back, because I was in New York and I went to my friend's company called ROH, Ring of Honor. They've been in here in Buffalo and in Toronto and that. And I was in the Hammerstein Ballroom, which was a notorious place because that's where they first started taping Raw. Right. And I went out there for there and did something, and that's when I first heard the people started chanting Sheep Herders. That's the hardcore crowd there. And Bushwhacker, that's when I decided to get back in the ring. They gave me a bit of life and that. So, you know, there's Still life after death, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see you tonight. You haven't missed a beat.
Now, well, if they knew my age and that, you know, still hanging in there, mate.
Now, I noticed that you were naming tons of superstars that are on with you now in CWI here.
Yes.
Who would you like to wrestle? Who would be your dream match?
A dream match? Well, anyone really, and that, you know, they're all the WWE fans, WWF guys, and WEDE fans from back when, and that I was on the road with and that. But, you know, I'm happy to work with anybody and hop in the ring with anybody and entertain the people. It's not who I'm happy to wrestle, it's who I like to give the fans what they want and make them hear the fans.
Yeah,
I like to hear them, you know, and not sit there and get bored. I like to go out there and entertain them and do it. You know, today, a lot of these other people, you know, in ROH, I love to watch, but that's one move after another move after another move. But the audience doesn't grow. You know, you've got to, that's just that's tunnel vision, you know.
Right.
I like it. I like the whole spectrum. I like to see the kids, the parents and the grandparents, the older people there. I like the whole generation, the 4 generations of people out there watching and getting entertained.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I have someone to wrestle and to do it, you know, the guy I travel on the road with a lot, a honky tonk man. I don't mind get out there, you know. He's a fan favourite today, but we've gone out there and faced each other and we've torn the houses down. And we haven't done all this high-flying stuff. We've just entertained the people.
Right.
Got them, you know, I've got them behind me and he's got them to hate him and the people have been screaming in the end. That's what show business is about.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Giving the people what they want.
I understand you have a documentary being shot of your life right now?
Yeah, at the moment then, I got a gentleman travelling with me in the next 3 days. He's come over here. They're doing a little documentary on me. It first started a little short documentary. He started interviewing people from the 70s. Don Morocco, Rick Martel, a lot of Harley Race, all the people that come over to New Zealand in the 70s.
Right.
And in the 80s and that, and then he came and started interviewing me, and now he's been over 3 times the last year, and they're putting a lot of clips together and sort of throwing me in the storyline there, and then following through it. I'm very happy to do it. So, you know, I love New Zealand, but it's so far away from everywhere. It's way down under, and the business I'm in, I couldn't make a living there anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It's there's no promoters there full time. And when I started, it was full time in New Zealand. I was working 6-7 days a week there. You know, many moons ago. And there were such greats over there. Peter Marvia, The Rock's grandfather.
Yeah.
I wrestled him. Then I wrestled Rocky Johnson and Rick Martel. They were over there. And then I wrestled, me and Butch wrestled them all over New Zealand. And then I come over now, and when I was finishing with WWF, along came Wayne, what's his name? The Rock.
Oh,
Dwayne.
Dwayne.
Along came Dwayne, and there's the 3rd generation.
Yeah, for sure. That is.
I never was in the ring with him, but boy, the kid's got it. The kid's got it all. Hey, he's a big movie star now. He's not a kid anymore.
Nah, he's all grown up.
Yeah, and I know the mum and his dad from the mid-70s.
Now, what's that like to be able to be a part of all